Welcome to Tailgate Update number 43. Starring as always, Caleb Horn, Julie Miller, and myself, Jay Moffitt. I'll be moderating the proceedings. And we're going to start off this week with a little bit of basketball because it's really the dog days of summer. And the remarkable thing to turn on the USA versus South Sudan and see South Sudan is up by 8 or 10 points on LeBron and company. So I was wondering, Julie, did you see anything of that or hear about the game?
Yeah, 101 to 100 at the end there. LeBron James apparently came in there in the end and finally did what should have been done the whole time. And I've heard, apparently, USA has given South Sudan a lot of accolades about their basketball talents, which I did not personally know that was a thing. Is South Sudan possibly a basketball hotspot that I just wasn't aware of, or is that not generally like what people associate? I don't know. But the way that the team spoke about them, you would think that they were like the next all-stars and that we should be recruiting everyone from there. But, I mean, I guess the U.S. had to say some stuff like that since they almost got their ass kicked by them. But it was embarrassing, even that part.
They barely snuck by Germany today, too. It's like 92 to 88. Like, dream team, my ass, man. Like, this team is just buns. It's like... and the problem is you got people like LeBron and Steve Kerr leading the way. Like you need more like a Kobe Bryant type in there, and there's just nobody with that type of mentality that's like just wants to just kick everyone's ass. They all kind of just want to glide and skate by and just.
I could be wrong, but aren't a lot of the people this year like in their 40s?
At least
we're talking about South Sudan and Germany, though.
I know. I'm saying they're skating by because they're trying to get that barbecue.
Please be so for real.
Okay.
Like, it's like, an absolute.
It was amazing when I looked at the starting lineup against Germany, and Drew Holiday is in the starting lineup, and they've got coming off the bench Jason Tatum and Anthony Davis. I mean, it's the most screwed up starting lineup I've ever seen. I mean, LeBron makes sense and Steph makes sense, but past then to have Embiid starting over Anthony Davis is just wild because the second team comes in and they're down by 10 to Germany, just like they were down by 10 to South Sudan. And they've got Anthony Edwards, who's great coming off the bench, and Jason Tatum, who just won a championship coming off the bench, and Anthony Davis, who for 3 years has been the best player on the Lakers. It's just crazy that they're the only team I've ever seen. They're down by 10 before they can blink. And then the starters come in. And, you know, the second team for all these other teams haven't even played any organized ball, hardly, you know?
I don't think that they really care. I think that's the thing.
Like, Emma just had, like, that palsy thing. I wrote an article about that. He had like that eye thing.
The Bell's palsy.
Yeah, the Bell's palsy, and like the eye have shut. I mean, you know, one side, and like that's just caused by like stress. So I'm like, why don't you just sit your ass down? You know.
So, and Bede's on the team with Bell's palsy. I'm not making fun of him, but then they kicked off Kawhi Leonard. Like,
you can't make this stuff up. Like,
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like, doesn't he need an off season, like a long one?
You would think. Granted, like half his season this year was kind of an off season, I guess, because he didn't play that much, did he? About half the game.
Yeah, they got bumped to the first round. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, he got beat up. Like, I mean, he was beat up in all the ways. But yeah, I'm like, make this make sense. I guess they're just doing what they have to do to win, and
pretty
like
much
the very scariest way possible for their audience.
But like Caleb said, they beat Germany today by 4. And you know, Germany, you think of, I mean, they have Franz Wagner, who's a very, very good player for the Magic. Got extended like a nice 5-year contract. He's their best player, but none of the other people you recognize except they have Dennis Schroeder. But the other thing is, in international ball, they're ranked number 3.
Germany is.
So yeah, Germany is. So they're played together a long time, but the starters, the starting team that they play is going to be Serbia in the Olympics. And Serbia has Jokic, and they also have Bogan Bogdanovic. So that'll be a really tough line. That's 2 NBA basically all-stars.
So their front court's going to be really freaking good.
Yeah, I mean their front court's going to be awesome, and then the other people have played together. So that'll be interesting when the Olympics start to see how they do right out of the gate to play one of the toughest teams that they'll play. So, but anyways, keeping in the basketball arena, the WNBA All Star game was the other night, and
Yes.
record breaking in terms of you know, in terms of ratings, just like everything else this year with the WNBA. Julie, did you have a chance to look at that, or have a chance to analyze
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, and I was kind of confused by it because there's 2 teams, and one's Team WNBA and the other one's Team USA. And I understand that one of them's going off to the Olympics, so that's why they're called that and why they're differentiated. But it's a confusing way to divide. I mean, I get it because one's going, but you're like playing yourselves with some, I don't know, like, uh, which I guess like all star. I don't know. I just was like, this is an interesting way to name Team WNBA and Team USA because the WNBA isn't in USA anyway. But yeah. So some speaking of records, they had Enrique Ogunbowale set the record of 34 points total in the game. It's the first time. So congrats to her. And both Clark and Reese beat their own individual rookie records. And then Caitlin Clark actually made an assist to Angel Reese, and a lot of people were like grateful to see, like, well, happy to see them working together, and they even dapped up. So maybe this will help relations. Aubrey Plaza, she tore her ACL, and it's kind of ironic because Team WNBA beat Team USA by about, I can't math right now, 8 points. Yes, 8 points. And that's just kind of funny because our Olympics team got trashed by our other WNBA team. So that's a good start. Yeah, so that was of course, Brittany Griner was there, and I did write just an article about her and her wife. It's on the forkball.com. They just had their baby boy. So that's exciting. But anyway, yeah, so looks like our female Olympics team will do about as well as our men's is. So that's good to know.
Yeah, that's you know, Caitlin Clark, Reese, they maybe should have been on the USA team. Just maybe.
Yeah,
but
just an idea.
that talent disparity will be so great. I think in their international competition, I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Yeah,
but, I mean, they've clapped cheeks for the past like 30 years or whatever it's been. So,
but you know that the team had to be so mad. Team USA, it's like you're going to set up this way just to prove that we were wrong. It's like that's literally the only way that they could have proved they were wrong.
Well, granted, they only have like 12 players overall, so they probably needed everybody there. But just to like even have an all-star game, period. But yeah, it was kind of shameful to have a bunch of rookies kicking your can.
How many WNBA teams are there? 10? 12? Anybody know? I don't.
Now off the top of my head, I know 4 or 5 team names.
I shouldn't have asked the question. Now this looks like we just don't care.
No, the research team is on it.
It's tough. They're in a weird spot as a league right now, I think, and they're trying to grow. They are starting to grow.
12 teams.
But
that makes sense.
Yeah, you just need more teams, more players, but it's the talent pool is already very sparse as it is. So I mean,
to some extent though, because there's 12 teams, right? But there's like tons of women's basketball all across America, like in colleges. So like they must have some.
Yeah, the women's college is probably ahead of where the WNBA is right now.
True.
So, but it's all got to catch up.
But I think
same thing in high school, and
I think there's probably like more talent that they could tap into that's available eventually when they can grow.
Probably the only issue is it's harder to get the women to leave the college game because they can make more, depending on who you are, through NIL and
right,
living for free, all the things versus you're getting paid. A first round pick is making what, like 70K or whatever Caitlin Clark's
making.
That's it, 70K, yeah.
Yeah, like.
But you have to graduate sometime, so like
right.
They do.
Right.
They do.
But I think we're going to see a lot more with the new NIL rules in all the sports that we're going to have a lot of people camping out. Like even I'm going to say even with the NFL and college football, we're going to all of a sudden see the whole transformation there.
Absolutely. That's true. Basketball is more appealing. I mean, guys like Coleman Hawkins that very well could have been a day one, maybe day two pick that just stayed because they made $2.5 million this year when he only made like a couple 100,000 in the G League this year. So
But the other thing is they just announced the new media deal for the women's league, and that will really help them in all the other areas. And once there's money coming in, they will add a team or two here and there.
Yeah,
they just now started charter flights this year. They were flying commercial.
Yeah.
Thank you, Caitlin Clark. Thank you.
I know they should all,
bow to her at all times.
Send her roses. Yeah,
she should have the world's biggest Christmas list this year.
Well, speaking of sending someone their roses, the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame is in the news. So anyway, have they come up with the new inductees this year?
Yes. We have Adrian Beltre, right?
Beltre. Okay.
Yeah, Joe Mauer, Todd Hilton, and Jim Leland.
That's a good
the manager, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, once our money starts pouring in, Jay, then we can afford a more robust research team. Then I will be able to help answer those questions.
But yeah, the Jim Leland, the manager of the Pirates, I remember because the Cardinals could never beat him back in the day when he was at his peak. And he managed forever. So that's how you make the Hall of Fame.
That's a really good crew. Joe Mauer, I can't imagine what that guy would have been if not for injuries throughout his career. Because that dude was, a guaranteed double off the wall, like every at bat it felt like. Todd Helton, unfortunately for him, he's trapped with the Rockies his entire career, but just a stud.
Yeah.
That's Adrian Beltre. What do you hit? 600 home runs, close to 600.
Yeah.
So strong choices to you, Caleb. You like them all?
Yeah, and then obviously, like Jay said, Leyland, all four of those guys, very well deserving.
I don't know if you remember, Caleb, the Todd Helton story. You remember when he played in college, his position in he played football.
Did he really? I did not know that.
He went to University of Tennessee, played football and baseball. Was All-American at baseball. Once he got hurt in college in football, he didn't go back to football and kept playing baseball.
Yeah.
When they dragged him off the field, they put in the second string quarterback for University of Tennessee. He played about a quarter. Then the second half, they came back with their third string quarterback at the University of Tennessee, whose name was Peyton Manning.
Oh, that one guy.
I never heard of that guy.
He played the rest of the year. Can you imagine you're a Hall of Fame baseball player? You were replaced in college by a Hall of Fame football player.
Man, what a squad.
I know. Can you imagine?
That's not embarrassing at all. Like, that's like, I got, like, my backup was like the coolest guy ever. Like, that's a flex,
But Peyton Manning was basically like Arch. He was, number one quarterback in the whole country, basically. The records Arch was breaking were mainly Peyton's records from back in New Orleans high schools. And then Peyton comes in and he's roundly criticized, the coaching staff too. He's like, why is it Peyton first string? He says, he's played on the team for a month. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But after 6 weeks, he was a starter for like the next 2.5 years.
that's a really cool bit of information there, Jay.
But
I
Todd
did not know
Helton
that.
was just amazing, and he was very underrated because he played in Colorado most of his career. Hit a
Yeah,
lot of home
yeah.
runs that
Just
were
lost.
questionable other places,
that,
but he
that
hit a
high
lot of home
elevation.
runs.
Yeah, he was. Hey, you know what? I felt like he was. He's just Mr. Consistent. I feel like, and honestly, that's kind of how you get in the hall, especially with the Rockies, where you, like you said, you can get lost very easily. So very cool. Do you know who the second string quarterback was at Tennessee?
I do not know. He did not play
No,
pros.
that'd be a good trivia question.
I was the
Oh,
quarterback
oh,
over
oh.
Manny.
Yeah.
When you brought up trivia, that reminded me because I was supposed to be like the sports expert when I went to trivia recently, which I actually delivered at some point, but I want to see if y'all know this one. Which is the highest scoring NHL player that's played on the New York Giants? New York.
Rangers.
Yes. Which player had the most points when they were a New York Ranger?
Do you know it?
Yes, I do, because I got it wrong in front of everyone.
I feel like you're gonna say it. I'm gonna know it, but I might not. I can't off the top of my head.
Yeah, so I said Wayne Gretzky because he's the Tom Brady of football, and I'm almost positive that he played for the Rangers at least for a year, but I thought it was when he was older. It was Yammer Yager.
I see, and I only know him as a Bruin.
Exactly, and that's where he got like his jersey retired and everything. Like, remember the bobbleheads?
Yeah.
It wasn't the bobbleheads for New York. So I was so freaking mad.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's news to me. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
And I think
Yammer.
Gretzky played Kings and Oilers for sure. He might have.
I
Rangers
thought he
too.
was. Yeah, and I'm like, out of all the players, like, the Tom Brady is always a decent guess.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that many people from now, but I didn't even know Yammer Yager played over there, and she didn't even know how to say it, so we really had a time. I was like, "This is how you say it." She's like,
Hey,
"I can't
that
hear
shouldn't
you
count
with the
then.
music." I know, right?
Yeah. If you can't say it, it doesn't count.
But to be fair, it starts with a J. Both Yammer and Yager starts with a J, which is confusing. So,
Staying on the Major League Baseball, we've got MLB is having a prostate cancer foundation for keep dad in the game. So
yeah, they did
could
it
you
for Father's Day.
yeah,
Well,
could you explain to me about that, Julie?
Yeah, we were talking about prostate cancer exams last week, so I just thought I would bring this up again because the MLB and the what is it called? The Prostate Cancer Foundation actually have a long-standing relationship. So, and I thought that was quite witty, keeping dad in the game. So, just thought I'd bring that lovely one up again. And I have the other trivia question that's also baseball related. So, okay, when Michael Jordan retired, and then he came back, the team that he came back to play for in 1994, I think it was. Or is that when he retired? 1997. When he retired and when he came back, the team that he played for, what was the MLB team that they were in contract with? They were
the Barons.
The what?
The Barons.
Who were the Barons?
Yeah, that was the team, Caleb. That was the name of the AA team that they were affiliated with, but she wants the name of the parent club.
Yes.
White Sox.
Yes. So,
which, Jay, did you know that, man, Julie, I don't know if you know Terry Francona?
I've heard of him. He's a manager, used to be a catcher, right?
So he soon to be Hall of Fame manager, but he was Jordan's third base coach with the Barons that year. So there's like a mic'd up clip where Jordan triples down like the left field line, and Terry's like talking to the TV crew at the time. And I had no idea that Tito was his third base coach. But yeah, Tito's he coached the Indians against the Cubs in the World Series in 16. Want to say he was with the Red Sox at some point too. He had actually never lost. Yeah, he had never lost a World Series game until he played against the Cubs in 16. So he won. He went 4-0, 4-0 with the Red Sox in 04 and 07. Or yeah, 04 and 07, I think.
Well, I'm glad Caleb got that one right away. Yeah. It took me a second longer, but I did get it, and I nice. Freaked out in the bar. I was like, just I did the whole arm thing. I was like, yes. Like, had to have another victory beer. No, they're not a lot of. They're not a lot of sports people. Like, I'm kind of like the sports person, which based on our NFL trivia, that'll go hit and miss, but
trivia is really hard. It's like Jeopardy for dumb people.
Yeah,
it's really hard. Just like there's no limit to what you could be asked. So
it was rough, and Yammer just really killed me. Anyway,
at least you know how to say it.
Yes, I do know how to say it. Yeah. Keep Dad in the game. All right.
Yeah. Moving into we're finally getting close to football season. I mean, every weekend it's like, okay,
that's what we're all here for.
4 more weekends. I'm like, why can't I just like hibernate like a bear except during the summer?
You'd be like
football season. Yeah, but college football 2025.
The EA Sports
just came out.
Yeah.
So, and I thought I'd look at some reactions and the ratings or the reactions that I saw so far have been from the players themselves. I haven't really seen like a whole lot of like consumers yet, but some of them were like uncertain about how their likeness was being depicted on the video game, as in like they had a guy who resembled Justin Bieber really, really closely, but there's no football player that resembles Justin. So yeah, Justin Bieber was in the lineup. There's a couple of those. The ratings apparently hurt some feelings, like speed always ratings. Do. One player was like, what? And then the ratings from the game has Ducks Elijah Rushing saying that he wants to raise up his ratings. He's using this as an inspiration and a chip on his shoulder to get him up. So
whatever it takes.
Yeah, we've had quite a mixed reaction. But
yeah,
I mean, I would say that I would say it's mostly positive. It's just like, even from the players, it was just like, a little bit here and there, but.
Jay, you been playing much?
Haven't played it yet. Dude, like we talked about last week, they got 10,000 people licensed. It's not like the NFL where they can do the motion capture to get something at 10,000 people. I mean, I think they would probably look more like a courtroom artist sketch than the actual motion capture.
It does kind of look like that.
When you're picking your like character, like for a head coach for a dynasty or something to that effect, there are so many freaking. It's not like Madden where there's like maybe 10 different faces you can choose from. I mean, there's like hundreds. So
wow.
It's really cool, man. It's really smooth, really fluid. Gameplay's not been too many glitchy things, but there's been a couple here and there. It's just a blast. I got, of course, number 1 Illinois going up against number 8 Ole Miss.
Yeah.
In the quarterfinals. Probably gonna play that after we get off here. So it's a blast. And it's so in depth. Like you can get in the weeds as much as you want with it.
Well, that's good to have a positive review from a consumer. So it's not like Madden 2024 or whatever it was, where everybody like.
It's not a reskin. Not at all. It does need the mascot mode, though. I will say they need to add that in at some point.
They don't have the mascots?
Nope. It's no like how am I supposed to be the Florida Gator or the Stanford Tree?
Without a tree and a gator. I don't know. It seems like you're managing it, but I hear you. It would add more character.
I'm having a hard time, Julie. It's really eating me up.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm not trivializing your experience.
Oh,
Okay.
you use trivia in a word. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's theme of the day.
Okay, moving on to another non-field uh, thing happening in football. Troy Aikman and Lamar Jackson are having a little bit of dust up about number 8.
Yes. A number. The number 8. Yeah, so they're both proud eighters. And they both have used 8 for like the majority of their careers. And so Troy Aikman is trying to go through the US Patent and Trademark Office to get it patented, which is confusing because it's a number.
I think trademark probably.
What?
Maybe
Somebody
the
else
U.S.
has some.
Trademark Office.
Well, it's the US Patent and Trademark Office, but yes,
Okay.
I imagine
Yeah.
only the trademark is the yeah. So Lamar's made an official complaint with that office, according to the federal records. So Jackson actually has several trademarks and using that same number in various phrases. And that so he said that Aikman's attempt to use 8 as in spelled out in capital letters on apparel and the bags would cause confusion, mistake, or deceive the purchasing public as whether they're buying products from Jackson or Aikman, which yeah, anyway. And then the lawyer also said Jackson has expended considerable time, effort, and expense in promoting, advertising, and popularizing the number 8. The number 8 in connection with his personality and fame, and is well known by his number due to his notoriety and fame, along with his promotion of this number in his trademarks and in media coverage. So he's filed 2 appeals to the trademark office. Yeah, against a specific company that lists Aikman as one of its directors, and it's because they're trying to use 8 on apparel and bags, so he's not having it. Yep. So there's a whole lawsuit, a complaint going on over the number 8.
Is that the same number 8 that Lamar was saying he's going to change to a 0 once he wins that Super Bowl? He's never going to win.
I didn't know either one of them had such an attachment to the number 8, so I don't understand the attachment to a number. Yeah, you like learn
every
it,
sport has this number.
Not even just the sport, pretty much the world, you know.
I mean, like, you know, checkbooks, you know,
multiplication tables,
my keypad, my
science,
odometer,
NASA. They use 8 a lot.
Serial numbers. Like, what are we even doing? How do you? Somebody else has a number trademark though, and I thought it was the most ridiculous thing ever. I can't remember who it was though.
I didn't know either one of them was number 8.
I didn't know Aikman was. I knew that Lamar Jackson was, but I totally forgot Aikman was.
Yeah, so they're arguing over something that the regular consumer does not know that either one of them is 8. And I don't know
sure
how many.
Somebody's gonna be able to tell the difference between Troy Aikman's apparel and Lamar Jackson's apparel. I'm fairly certain.
Are they not going to have anything else but the 8? Because I would think that they would have some other advertising that would at least like bring
color
up
scheme,
something, maybe Ravens. A reference to the Ravens or Cowboys would let you know.
Like, holy smokes, man! Like,
possibly the name somewhere else on a tag somewhere. Lamar Jackson's number 8.
Who's out here buying Troy Aikman shit? He hasn't played in 30 years.
That's it. I mean, the Cowboys are like my NFC team, and I could care less about Troy Aikman at this point.
Maybe at Target. Target has a pretty big apparel section with sports.
Target's, they're pretty up and up, I suppose. I don't know.
They both have pretty big apparel sports section. Yeah, they both do. Yeah, so
someplace maybe old fashioned like Hibbett Sporting Goods or something.
Right.
Walmart, you used to be able to get them cheap jerseys, but now I don't know. At least not the ones near me have those anymore.
Yeah.
So used to always be upset if I got those in my Christmas present or something like that.
Yeah.
Cheap old Walmart. I want the real thing, Mom.
Yeah, I
Lamar
was going to
Jackson's
say
8.
this is this is just amazing. But speaking of numbers, in NFL going from 16
Oh,
to
but
18.
you forgot to mention that Lamar Jackson is sick and nobody knows why. And that was a big
Nobody
deal.
knows why. We think it's something he ate.
Yeah, a mystery illness. That is what I'm calling it because
That's
nobody
the
knows.
same reaction I got from Caleb on chat. It's like
Is-
nothing. Zero.
Is
Something
this
he ate, Caleb.
Oh, he ate.
like I'm
Now, is
catching
it
up.
like Troy Aikman eating or Lamar Jackson?
As a
Lamar
dad,
Jackson
I
eating.
should
Yeah,
have caught
something
that
he
right
ate.
away.
Yes.
That's on me.
Okay.
That was good. That was good.
That's on me. If you have to explain it, it's on the teller.
I'm just not very smart, Jay.
Okay, like you're expecting a little too much out of me, but now that you said it, I got a good laugh out of it. So
We're talking about numbers. We're moving from 16 to 18, possibly in the NFL. Anybody have any opinions on that, or what's brought this up again? Who was saying this?
yeah, it was the Cowboys COO Stephen Jones that feels like the 18 game schedule is probably inevitable.
Bill Burrow had made a comment about it as well, but he had said that there needs to be a second bye week, which I agree. 18 is just too much, man. Like I mean, this is already NFL already dominates. Like, what's another game? You're just gonna piss your players off. And speaking of bye weeks, why can we not just do everybody has like the same 1 or 2 bye weeks? Why is it always got to be fun? It jacks up my freaking fantasy team so bad.
Yeah.
Every year they start rolling in, and then you got a team that has a bye week, like the Bears have had bye weeks in the week 14 the past 2 years. Like, what the hell good does that do? You know, the season's over.
Yeah. I agree with you, Caleb. And the thing is now, from the last 2 or 3 years, gambling and paid fantasy is so big that the NFL might actually listen to that now. 5 or 10 years ago, they had to pretend gambling didn't exist. But now they might be able to say, listen, we're going to do 18 and have after 5 weeks, you get a bye. And then after another 6 weeks, you get a bye. And then roll into the playoffs. And then that way you don't have to mess with your lineup. You don't have to have some C grade running back in for when your main running back is not going to be available. It just really, if you add an extra bye week, it adds up to where there'll be a bye week for somebody 10 weeks out of the year.
Yeah. What? So if they go to 18, do you think that they cut another preseason game, or are
they'll have to do that for the NFLPA to approve it? I'm sure.
But how is it like so? And that's the thing too, is like, so is the NFLPA actually protecting all players or just the guys at the top? Because that will negatively impact guys that are fringe players that will get cut.
The NFLPA is not the person who's promoting, and they haven't spoken about this at all. So that is a valid point, but we haven't really heard from them on their side. They might be
they got to fight something.
Yeah, I feel like they fight a lot of things. All these
unions are pretty weak right now. Baseball union's weak. Basketball union's probably the strongest one out of all of them.
I mean, the football cries if they want to change what kind of cornflakes they eat in the locker room. It's insane how controlling the NFL is with the owners like dictating all.
But it was only a couple of years ago they went to 17, and they should at least stay with that to see what's happening with the injuries, because they certainly can't say there's less. They might can say it's the same as always, but they certainly can't say it's less.
And I know this is kind of like a sidebar, but like, at one point do you start putting asterisks next to NFL single season records? Or I mean, now guys are getting 2-4 depending on when somebody played, because it used to only be 14 games. You know, I mean, some of these guys' records are kind of
yeah. And I want to know what Stephen Jones, if he's met his new sister yet. See, I think that would have been a more interesting question.
That would have been a good follow-up question for sure.
Yeah,
but you
Have
weren't
you
there, so.
had a family reunion yet? Met the new girl?
How's your baby sis doing?
You always wanted a baby sister. How are you feeling?
Yep.
There was some other follow-up questions I would have had.
Okay, I just got that one, so yeah.
You're welcome.
No, but when you were talking about the asterisks, I mean, think about it. It was what 35, 40 years ago they went from 154 to 162 games in baseball.
Yeah.
And then basketball has been 82 forever. What gives the audacity of the NFL? They went from 14 to 16 to now 17. If they go to 18, how can they have any single season records without an asterisk?
Well, it's like, at what point do you stop? I mean, why not just go to 20 then? You know, now pretty soon we'll have half a basketball schedule.
Are we really asking why the NFL has the audacity to do anything that they do now?
We all know. And the same thing for every other league. It's, money rules the world, but it's like I don't know. It's the same thing with all the TV packages and shit you got to have just to watch the games you need to watch. I mean, it's totally ruined the fan experience. It's just too commercialized, too monetized. But
can you let me be broke and still watch my game, please? Like, I shouldn't have to get 3-4 streaming services so that I can be a consumer of your sport.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, is this for the average Joe or not?
But that's been the way since like I was very, very young. I remember when the first ice hockey package came out. I forget what it was called. It might be the same thing now. But anyway, there's like this new NHL package, and it was like, well, how is that any different than what plays on the? And they found some way to make it different. And that was when I was quite young, so it's been around for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, just don't. NFL, just don't. Just leave it. Or if anything, go back to 16.
I could never see that happening though, because of money.
Never.
Yeah, because never. I was going to say, why don't we go ahead and move into our more the violent sports, the racing sports. Our fourth of the 4-pack tonight.
Oh, you forgot about Shaq Barrett. That was kind of a big story.
Oh, Shaquille Barrett, he retired.
Damn it, did I say? Yes, sorry. Yes, Shaquille Barrett. Yeah, he retired. 2-time Super Bowl champ.
No, they call him Shaq too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I abbreviated it, but not quite official. 2-time Super Bowl champ, 9 seasons. He's retiring at 31. I also want to retire at 31. And he is.
I'm there. I'm not retired yet, so.
Yep. And he says he's going to be focusing more on being a dad and right now, and he actually was signed by the Miami Dolphins this year because he was with I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, and then they let him go, and he was just like staring down the barrel at training camp and was like, nah. So he's gonna call it quits.
Training camp seems to be the.
I cannot imagine being that old and having to do another one with a whole nother team. Like, I get it.
Remember Strahan in his final year when he was kind of going back and forth, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come play, but I'm not coming to training camp."
Yes,
he just sat it out. That's what I do too, man. I mean, you get to certain points, like, all right, how many more of these got to do?
Yeah,
but he had a monster couple of seasons there with Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I think is that first year with Brady, they have like 20 sacks or something. Crazy.
A lot of he was kind of undersized too, wasn't he?
A little bit. I mean, for a DN, I mean, usually you look at like a DN like Julius Pepper is just a mammoth. But no, he had a good career.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I know. When's it my turn?
Yeah. Like you said, every year there'll be 2 or 3 that get the train camp and you say.
Right? They're just like, no thanks. Do it again.
Yeah.
I could totally resonate with that feeling. Like, it is just not happening this year. Yeah.
Down in Miami, are you freaking kidding me? Forget that. You're on a new team.
Like,
this is just no thanks. I'll take my 50 million or whatever I made in my career and I'll just walk away.
And I guess I don't know if I think his kids are quite young.
Are they?
Yeah.
I mean, he's only 31. So
yes. Yeah, so he's like really talking a lot about like how he's looking forward to being more engaged with his family, his wife and his
Good for him.
kids. So yeah,
Good.
that's where he's gonna channel all that energy, he said, to being a good dad and keep dad in the game, as baseball says.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah. But moving on to the non-major sports, we're going to Jake Paul and Mike Perry. So,
Whenever I hear, Jake Paul and Mike Perry, I want to know what Conor McGregor has to say about it. Like you guys, I'm sure.
Yes, that's always the first thing that came to my mind, actually. So
I looked for his hot takes, and if you translate them, yeah, he said you should take him to Vegas. Oh, that's right, you would never. The athletic commissioner testing real fighting bitch asses. And he is mentioning, oh yeah, when he was talking about Paul and Mike Tyson, he said you could never, and then calling out 60-year-old Mike Tyson fresh off of an in-flight medical emergency. I swear to God, a fat can of bitch piss, most valuable piss bag. And then
can you read that in Conor McGregor's accent?
Yes. And then he told Mike directly, hey, Mike, you're released and you can go and compete in your smelly, dirty boxing championship thing. The smell of it. Good luck. You're fired. Yeah, so he wasn't impressed.
I mean, it's Jake Paul, just a roided out.
Yeah, Paul knocked down Perry 3 different separate times before KOing him in the 6th round. Perry said he's lost because he didn't feel well, was sick, and had a swollen knuckle that resembled a big ball.
All right.
Yeah, y'all can't tell me that was super great. Conor McGregor's tweets. I don't know what he's trying to say, but it was so funny. Okay.
Conor is one of one. He's he had a couple of proper 12s in him, and he just, he let that Twitter machine eat.
Okay.
A proper 12 as opposed to an improper 12.
When IW edits this is gonna be beep 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 beep.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say he's Logan Paul's brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically this is the week of the other, because we didn't mention Jerry Jones, but we mentioned Stephen Jones, and we mentioned Jake Paul and not Logan Paul. I mean, that's like 1 in a million week.
Having ourselves a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that's just so extraordinary to me. It's almost like a couple of rookies on the WNBA beat the real big clubs. Oh yeah, that happened too.
No, I hear you. It's almost like South Sudan almost beating us.
Well, yeah, that would have been the triple.
Man, it must have been a full moon this week, huh? All sorts of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
It must have been. Moving over to Kyle Larson of NASCAR. He was in the news this week.
Yeah, he won. It was kind of a controversial win, but he won so thoroughly that he had like lapped everybody twice. He had like a couple minutes or something in between. Like,
was he like racing? This was NASCAR and he lapped people twice?
Yes.
Everybody?
Yes, yes, I believe so.
Did his car get tested for PEDs?
Yeah, it was like everything happened to everybody else. So, let's see, the race leader, because he wasn't first for the entire match. He was first heading towards the end. But Brad Keselowski, he ran out of fuel and had to peel off to the pit road. And so that helped out. And then the second place, Ryan Blaney, he had the lead. But then Larson did an inside lane maneuver, and that that led him to beat Blaney, and then he also got another launch with Blaney and another turn, like by maneuvering it. So anyway, yes, they had a lot of stalled cars, people running out of gas. It was bizarre. Yeah.
That is weird.
They had to throw a caution because Ryan Priest's car stalled. Yeah, that happened on his final lap. So anyway, he oh no. Okay, sorry. He wasn't the one that second lapped everybody. That's the next story. I got ahead of myself. But he still was first place. And I know. And
I was like, man, that is weird. I've never heard that before.
Okay, but the next one I also think is surprising, but maybe not.
Okay.
And yeah, so he managed everything. It was like a Mario game and he got all the bonuses.
Good for him. It's good to have days like that.
Yeah.
Keep you coming back for more.
And get your gas before you run out next time.
Yeah. Don't want that. That's important.
I was going to say, speaking of running out of gas, the guys that don't need gas, the Tour de France.
Yes.
There you go. Good, smooth transition, Jay. Smooth.
The early, I don't get extra money for that, so I was going to say that the guys with that gas. I mean, it's like who's wearing the yellow jersey? How is it shaping up on the early parts?
I don't know enough about the sport to get that reference, but
is Lance Armstrong still?
It's Tadej
racing or no?
Tadej, okay.
Tadej Pogacar. He won. Yeah, he had a lead of more than 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yes, and he comfortably won, as they call it, the race for the third time ever. And the first time in 3 years for him, but it's his third win, just 3 years in between. But 5 minutes.
Tour de France is every year, correct?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's not blood doping like old Lance boys, no?
Don't you have to isn't it a they have multiple people on the team, or I don't know. I just watched that.
They do,
one.
Yeah. I believe 4.
Yeah. There's
and then they go on for like a certain number of hours, and then you get a certain number of hours off. I don't know. I just watched
racing at the same time.
No.
Oh.
I just watched Gran Turismo like last year, and that's all my knowledge comes from. But no, you have like one person and they go for like several hours, and then you have like the next person and they go for several hours. Okay. I think everybody goes up at least. Some people have to double up, if not more. Because it's 24 hours, right? So it's like 6, 12. I think everybody gets like a shift. Obviously, if something happens and you get pulled early and somebody else has to compensate, but I think everybody gets like 6 hours or something. So
okay,
yeah.
So that's where I guess Lance was just doing like probably the last leg then.
Probably
during the heyday there. Okay.
Yeah.
I should get out more. I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, I just watched the show and I'm like trying to remember it right now. That movie. It was really scary though, because like in the movie they sort of depict, I think that was the one where the car went on fire and the guy died in it. So I was like, I think I'm good.
Ferrari, right?
Something. Yeah.
Ferrari,
I think so.
yeah.
That's a good movie.
They were doing
Gran Turismo. I was watching
Gran Turismo. Okay. Yeah, there was a fire scene.
There was like a real
too.
Incident. Like it was like a real thing that happened. And I was like, I don't really want to watch something that goes 24 hours where I might have to watch somebody go up in flames. Like that's not really my idea of a good day.
Yeah, I remember that. Where the 24 hours of Le Mans in that movie.
Oh yes, the French.
That's what
thing.
It was. Yeah. So I remember that someone died and
Yeah, and I was like, I think I'm good. So that's my experience. He also did Tour de France, right? And that's when they had. I thought so.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we are clearly needing to keep up with our car sports. We need to do some more research on that. But
no, but the one I watched with Ferrari, which is obviously not Gran Turismo, even though there was a huge fiery wreck in Gran Turismo. In Ferrari, there was a wreck that was so bad that I mean the bystanders, like the Tour de France, they would line up beside the road. But this was 200-mile-an-hour cars coming by. They would line up beside the road, and
yes,
they hit a cobblestone and took out like about 10 or 11 people on the countryside, and they banned the race because they said we don't need pedestrians just watching a 200-mile-an-hour car go by.
And then they get hit by the
choice,
car.
baby.
But then they get rolled over by the car. Why in the hell would I watch a game where I'm gonna watch somebody go up in flames? I'm gonna get hit by a car.
Yeah.
That's like sitting at midfield when Brian Dawkins or Ed Reed is coming across the middle. You're asking trouble.
Yeah, I like to keep it non-violent for me as the audience member. I would rather see it happen down below, but whatever.
Right. I mean, this is this is anecdotal, but the minor league team in our town, they had a place for youngsters to play in frolic that was called the Bluff. Okay, out like left center field, nice little place. And then they moved it from when they redid it, and they moved the quote unquote bluff for the the children to run and play and to just off the third base left field line.
That's not smart.
That's the most wrong. How many screamers? At least once a game, there's a screamer that comes down. Some 5-year-old sitting there playing with a toy dinosaur in a sandbox.
Oh my god, the angry mom running after the player, trying to smack him for hitting her kid.
I'm sorry for bringing up bad juju, but oh my gosh, that was just amazing to me. The couple of years I've gotten to see that.
That's funny.
Who on earth works for a baseball team and then comes up with that idea?
We'll start with Julie and talk about what we got going social media.
It's Miller Prime. On all of the things.
Okay. How about you, Cable?
I'm at Cap11 on Twitter or X, or whatever you want to call it. Probably depends on how long you've been a part of it, but that's it.
I guess for me, I'm at Ajax Mim at Twitter X, whatever you would call it. Okay, and I hope y'all go to find us on the Tailgate Update on YouTube. And what were they supposed to do, Julie?
When they subscribe, find us? Hit that notification bell, ding, and let us know about all of the. Let us know how much you enjoyed us remembering yesteryear so many times today.
Let us know what you want.
Yes, exactly.